That's the fear of what other people think of us. And I think a lot of the time we haven't even done anything yet, but we've already stopped ourselves from taking actions because somebody might think something about us. So I'm talking about things we do out in the world, things that involve other people. That's why I call it putting yourself out there. Putting yourself out there is when you know you're going to do something you enjoy, and other people might see it and have an opinion about it. And I want to look at this topic from a few different angles. How do we stop thinking so much about what other people think of us, and how do we stop holding ourselves back because of it? Of course, I'm not saying that other people's opinions do not matter at all, because when people say, I don't care what anyone thinks about me, that's not entirely true, because we're social creatures and acceptance from other people has always mattered and probably always will. So we want to belong somewhere, we want to be part of a group, and that's completely normal. Problem starts when other people's opinion become more important than what you actually want to do with your life. In other words, other people's opinions become more important than your own life. Just think about it for a second. You put in somebody else's opinion above your own life, and that, in my opinion, is a serious problem. It's something worth working on if you wanted to live a happier life. You want something, you dream about something, maybe it's something that other people could judge or comment on, but instead of doing it, you do nothing, and you don't do what's good for you, and that's where the inner tension comes from. That's where frustration comes from, I would say. So I suggest looking at this from a slightly philosophical point of view. Imagine yourself at 80 years old. You're looking back at your life. What do you think you will regret more? A negative comment somebody left? I think no. You will regret not doing the things you wanted to do. And that comment, whether it happened in real life or no online, something like, oh, you stupid, it exists somewhere in another person's head, and very often it has nothing to do with reality. And our brains are constantly trying to predict the future, and we tend to believe our own prediction. For example, if I post a video, people will laugh at me, or if I start singing, everyone will say I've got a better voice, or if I share my opinion, people will judge me. But how do we know that's actually going to happen? We don't. And even if it does happen, let's say somebody comment, your music is bad, then what? Do you stop making music? No. So anything negative people say about you needs to be questioned. If somebody says you're stupid, ask yourself, where is the evidence? Why should I automatically believe somebody who knows about 1 minute of my life? Why should I believe what they have written? How did they even come to that conclusion? And blah, blah, blah. So it's really important to ask yourself these questions, and it's important to use rational thinking, because rational thinking helps us avoid becoming prisoners, I would say, of every emotion and every opinion we come across. If you believe everything other people say, it won't lead anywhere good. There will always be people who think you're amazing, and there will always be people who think you're stupid, because everyone has their own subjective opinion and their own perceptions of you, and every person sees the world through their own experiences and beliefs. The person who calls you stupid and the person who calls you wonderful are two completely different people, and each of them sees you through their own picture of the world, through, as I said, experience, wounds, even their own mood. And a lot of people are waiting for the moment when they stop caring about what other things. They're waiting until they feel completely confident. But if you wanted to be confident and stop caring so much about what other people think, you have to do the things that make people have opinions about you. I hope you understand me. because over time those opinions will matter less and less. And I'll use social media as an example. You post one video, then the second, then the third, and that fear gets smaller because you develop a tolerance for other people's opinion, a tolerance for the fact that people might say things about you, and a tolerance for, I don't know, somebody writing something stupid in the comments. So I'd like to suggest asking yourself one question. What happens if I spend the next 5 years constantly looking over my shoulder, worrying about what everyone else thinks about me? Someone else's opinion lasts a few seconds. It's just a comment somewhere on the internet. But your life is your life, and it's your journey. It's made up of days, times, opportunities, and I think it's worth filling those days with things that make you happy and allow you to enjoy your life, at least most of the time. My main point, if you're scared of what other people might think, do what you wanna to do. Anyway, if you're anxious, do it while you feel anxious. If you're afraid of criticism, do it while being afraid of criticism. I've said many times before, you can read a lot of books and videos about how to stop carrying what other people think, but theory is one thing, practice is something completely different, and the fear of other people's opinion only starts to fade when you begin doing what you wanna do, despite what other people might think. So that's just how it works. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Thank you so much.